Hello, and we are live for another YEV podcast. We're talking today with Davide from Voltest, and we're going to be talking not only about Voltest and what help they are giving, what support they're giving to EV drivers in terms of EV health tests and warranties, but also finding out a bit more about Davide and his journey, because he was actually a Lamborghini engineer. So I'm really interested to find out more. And if anyone has got comments along the way, then feel free to chip in as we go. But yeah, welcome, Davide. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, really excited for this.
No, absolutely. So I have got a couple of questions written down, so I don't forget, because I've got a lot to cover on this podcast with you today. And what I wanted to start with was your journey, from Lamborghini engineer to now being EV. So can you kind of take us through, step by step, how that all happened?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I spent 7 years at Lamborghini as an engineering team leader, primarily focusing on following the V12 model line, so the Aventador. As you can see here behind, my main project was the SVJ, so the Aventador SVJ that I followed from the beginning to the production start. And then I started to got in touch with electrified vehicles, in that case, not full EVs, so with the plug-in hybrids that the company just brought to life in the last couple of years. So the first the Revuelto and then the Temerario, respectively the Aventador and then the Huracan replacement. And my journey with EVs started there, and then in 2022, together with my co-founder, we started thinking about our company. So the usual startup process: you start working on an idea, and then at one point you decide to quit your job, even if it was so fun and so exciting, because I always wanted to be an engineer for a super sport car company like Lamborghini. So in 2022, we started working at the first chapter of what then became Voltest, that was Scouted. So Scouted is still the legal entity of the entity name of the company, and we focused on specifically finding a way to the end of life of electric vehicle batteries. So topics like battery repurposing, and we built a platform to essentially trade offloaded batteries coming from EVs and send them to the energy sector. So the concept of second life and repurposing. Two reasons why then we pivoted to Voltest are we were struggling initially to get traction because batteries are lasting longer than what we all expected.
Yeah.
And second point, one topic and one question we got asked a lot of times, multiple times, was how do you determine battery health to understand what to do next with these batteries. So essentially that was the glimpse that brought us to Voltest, because we immediately understood that that topic was a key topic for the used car industry. So that is what our story, and we started working on Voltest in 2024, essentially at the beginning of 2024.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think there were a lot of ideas of how long EV batteries were going to last, and they have certainly surpassed that. So when it comes to your transition to electric, you're clearly an engineer, working on V12 Lamborghinis. It must be a bit of a culture shock. I mean, what was the catalyst to kind of take you down that road?
Yeah. So the catalyst, in general, I've always been attracted by EVs since like university studies, and the very first experience with EVs was when I drove, I think was a electric Renault Kangoo back in 2008 at one auto show. So I experienced that kind of difference in terms of torque, deliverability, and the experience that we all know about EVs and immediate acceleration that they had. They have. Aside from my work on sports car, which I love, and I still really, I still love that word and the word of petrol cars, especially sports cars like Lamborghini and all the super sport cars that are competitive to Lamborghini. In 2020, I purchased my first EV back in Italy, but when I was still living in Italy, and was a Volkswagen E-Up. So with a big incentive that the Italian government was giving at that point. So I really enjoyed the experience living in a city center of an EV as a daily driver. So essentially was that. I really enjoy the experience of saving money compared to gas, especially because in Europe and in Italy especially, the fuel gas cost is so high.
Yeah.
And that then started. I started looking more and more to EVs as daily drivers, as their advantages versus disadvantages. And the main advantage I love about EVs is the way they use energy in a way more efficient way compared to gas cars. So in general, when I want to promote that is, guys, we are talking about a technology that uses the energy in a way more efficient way compared to petrol cars that are capped at 40, even less percent in terms of the way they use energy, and that's it. So that's why I fell in love with EVs as daily drivers.
So it was it's your engineering kind of
exactly
passion that got you in. Oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, because I'm sure the efficiency of a Lamborghini with its noise, heat, and everything else is somewhat different to an E-Up. Certainly a Kangoo. It's interesting you mentioned the Kangoo because quite often you hear about, second life battery storage does tend to be a lot of Kangoo batteries. We've heard on previous podcasts as well, so that's good. And from a Voltest point of view, what's the kind of mission? What you involved in now, and what's the kind of focus for the future for the business?
Yeah, so the mission of Voltest is accelerate EV adoption by providing the right tools to trust used EVs in a very first phase of our company. Because one problem I always found when I was approaching to especially used EVs, for example, when I moved from Italy to the US, we were looking, my wife and I, we were looking to purchase a used EV, and there were no solution to trust used EVs, to have data about used EVs, and especially related to the battery. So the battery is the most valuable component and asset of an electric vehicle. We need to know everything about the battery. That's why our motto is, know everything about the battery. And this is our mission: provide data, transparency about EVs, and accelerate the adoption of used EVs that a lot of times are the perfect path for people to get in touch with EVs and start experiencing them.
No, absolutely. I mean, as you may know, I've got 2 used Teslas myself, and I certainly, the first one that we bought didn't have any tests. It was a bit of a gamble. It'd run out of normal warranty, still had the battery warranty on it, and then the very high mileage Tesla Model 3 that I've got, which is 223,000 miles, there was a battery test on it through the auction house. But I think it was quite there's a lot of different testing companies out there now, and I'm really interested to know how Voltest do it. What's your kind of USP? What do you guys do that might be different to other EV battery testers out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So first off is you can get a test even with OEM diagnostic tools. And this is the first question we usually get. It requires time, a lot of time, that usually dealers and pre-owned dealerships don't have. So essentially, they need to have solutions and tools to test battery health and to have a comprehensive set of data about battery health in a very quick time to make decision fast. And this is what we provide. So in general, our test takes anything between 2 to 5 minutes. There is a difference, for example, between Teslas and non-Teslas, because with Teslas, we provide adapter cable to connect not to the OBD port. That is usually the preference that we have. Usually we use the OBD port, but with Teslas, we can't use the OBD port because we are not able to gather any data from that. So we identify other ways to connect with the car. And the second differentiation is that we don't just read data that are coming from the BMS, so via CAN bus, but also we verify those data with our approach. That is, we use algorithms that have been primarily, or in the first place, developed for route planning and range prediction applications. So in that way, they are very precise in estimating the actual energy that a battery is still capable of holding at that time, at that point. And this is a way we basically counter-verify the data that we are gathering from the VMS. And this is our further validation that we usually strong advertise, because this is a big differentiation compared to other solutions on the market.
Okay, so I suppose if you could walk me through the process of how those tests work. As you mentioned, it's going to be slightly different from a normal EV, a non-Tesla EV compared to a Tesla. So is it, if you take me through the process of how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way it works is that we provide, at the moment, we only have a B2B product. So we serve dealerships, auctions, repair shops. We don't have a consumer product. What we provide is a unit, a kit that includes an OBD2 device that has Bluetooth connectivity and this set of adapter cables that are specifically for Teslas. What you have to do basically when you run a test, you connect either to the OBD or somewhere else if it's a Tesla. You download our app. You connect basically via the app through to the Bluetooth dongle, and you use the phone to run a test. You select your make and model. The procedure via the app takes, as I said, anything between 2 to 5 minutes. And at the end of the procedure, you receive the report via email or on our portal. That is usually the interface we provide to dealerships or in general to our customers. So this is the way it works.
Okay, so it doesn't need to be on charge. It's literally plug it in, test, details come through, test is done. And what type of information do you get? What are the kind of outputs that you get from that test?
Yeah, so the type of information we provide are like basic data, such as the vehicle identification with the VIN, make and model, the battery size, temperature of the test, like the external temperature and battery temperature, timestamp of the test. These are the basic data. And then on top of that, we provide state of health, so the actual usable battery capacity compared to new. Estimated range, usually we have against EPA, because we are based in the US. Odometer reading, just to double check that everything that the customer sees on the dashboard is effectively what we measured.
Yeah.
Fast and slow charges, so the distribution between the fast charges and the slow charges that the car had throughout its entire life. And then we have a more technical detail in which we provide cell voltage readings. So every voltage of every cell in the battery pack to measure what is called imbalance. So essentially, if there is a big imbalance inside the battery pack, we usually flag that with a red light or yellow light to immediately advise the customer that the battery can have a potential issue in that specific moment. And these cases in which the high imbalance is present are very rare, but the severity of the issue is very high. So it happened. It has already happened multiple times with some of our customers that maybe they buy a car from an auction, they think that it's good, and then they discover this because maybe the car is not charging in a to full charge, and they discover this and they immediately see what element inside the battery pack is off.
Yeah. Okay. And are there any challenges with the test? I mean, are there any hiccups that occur when you're doing a test? I mean, are there any particular vehicles that are harder to test than others?
Yes, Teslas. I don't want to talk about hiccups. So in general, we have customers that are testing tens of Teslas every day.
Yeah.
But for example, Model 3, Model Y, you need a little bit more of training that we usually do on the first onboarding call, because you need to connect to a connector that is located in the armrest area.
Yep.
So you need to access from the rear seats, remove a plastic part, connect there, and then you're good to go. Or with Model S and Model X, you need to connect under the big screen in the dashboard. There is a diagnostic port you can connect to, so not using the OBD port. So in general, we can say the difficulties are related to the use of adapter cables, essentially, with Teslas at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And it's not just tests that you guys offer. You guys also offer warranties as well.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So we have partnered with a third-party provider of very extended warranties. We just rolled out this week our program that is, thanks to this partner, is called Voltest Protect. And Voltest Protect is a lifetime very extended warranty that applies on cars with any mileage or range or age, sorry. So you test the car with Voltest. If it scores state of health that is higher than 80% and no big imbalance is detected, you get this lifetime very extended warranty, even on a Tesla that has 200,000 miles. So even in your case, for example. And yeah, this is the type of warranty we offer.
Okay. Well, I've done quite a few different battery tests over my time on the YouTube channel. And anyone that wants to understand how to access that port that Davide has just been talking about, there are videos on the channel, so go and check it out. So how to, just to compare it to the OEM test, I mean, I know the Tesla test quite well, done it a few times, and it's a bit of a pain in the backside, I must admit. And but how does it compare with that? You know, in terms of, have you seen any kind of data of how it compares to the Tesla one?
Yeah. So usually we don't like to compare directly with OEMs, because I come from that industry, and OEM tests could be, we can say, biased by themselves in order to protect basically what is the main asset, that is the battery, and not trigger warranty liabilities, essentially.
Yeah.
But we have seen data related to that. We can confidently say that we are even within 1% with Tesla's official diagnostic tests. And yeah, in general, as I said, we prefer not to compare with OEMs because of that approach that I explained you before. So essentially, we are using this type of calculation that is mutuated and has been created in the first place for range prediction applications. And we know that we are extremely precise, because otherwise, when we test in our development phase the cars, because we physically drive cars on the road before releasing a new make and model that we support. If we were not precise, we wouldn't be able to essentially get to destination in a very precise way.
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, there's, as you know, there's a lot of myths out there with regards to, you know, battery health and batteries lasting, as we covered right at the beginning. And just before I ask this question, actually, anyone that is on at the moment, please feel free to whack in a comment if you've got a question at all during the podcast. But yeah, what I wanted to ask was, have you, from the data that you've seen so far, are you seeing any kind of interesting trends when it comes to battery health? Anything that you want to share with us on the podcast as being a specialist in that area?
Yeah. So one myth that we are trying to, I don't want to say debunk, but some data that has been particularly interesting is related to the connection between fast charging and battery health. So there is
Yeah, I like this.
this,
I like where this
yeah,
is going. Yeah, carry on.
yeah, there is this, I don't want to call that misconception because it's still too early, but there is, especially in people that, with people that are getting in touch with EVs the first time, this kind of misconception that if you fast charge all the time, your battery is going to be is going to die faster. And what we have seen is that there is no big influence, honestly, on battery health related to fast charging. We have seen a lot of very, very healthy cars with a lot of 100% fast charging throughout their history. So, and maybe with 90% state of health after 6 to 7 years. So we have seen those are all Teslas usually, but we can confidently say that the way the BMSs are managing those fast charging applications is absolutely under control, and there's no big reason to think that fast charging will basically destroy your battery. Obviously, is better to avoid fast charging if you don't need that. But we have seen a lot of cars with a lot of fast charging done in a very good shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly from the data and from conversations we've had in the past that it tends to be. And please tell me if you've got any data to support or not support this. That it does tend to be more on age than the mileage on electric cars. Obviously, different brands because there's electric vehicles out there that don't have batteries that are cooled in a particular efficient way. Nissan Leaf, for example,
Nissan Leaf,
trials and tribulations with badly thermally managed batteries. Something that was really interesting to me when I bought the high mileage test Model 3 in my Model 3 was the fact that it was quite a young car. It was 3 years old. It had 217,000 miles on it. And the battery degradation is 71%, which is actually really, really poor. And I'm interested to know if you've got any data that you've seen that, and it's difficult because it's very difficult unless your battery test can do this, but to capture and understand other things that might help preserve the battery health, whether it's where the state of charge is left and things like that. Is there anything you can do to help us with that question?
Yeah, to your point, definitely age is the element that has the highest, biggest, greatest influence on battery health, so what we have seen so far. And on top of that, I would say that from what we have seen, mileage and age are almost equivalent in terms of effect, because at the end of the day, we have seen a lot of cars like yours. What did you say? Like 71%?
Yeah, on the Tesla test. So we did two tests. We did a like a plug-in test to like the CAN bus port where you've mentioned, and the voltage was very, very close on all the cells, which was good. But the battery degradation was quite bad. But on the Tesla test, it was 71%.
Okay. Yeah, because 71%, I would say, based on the data we are collecting, I would say that is on the lower end of what we have seen so far. So it's a kind of low number. It's good, but it's a kind of low number that we have seen on usually high mileage cars, not older cars, right? So for example, if you have, I have a 2013 Model S, but the car has 70,000 miles, okay?
Okay, interesting.
And the battery health is still very good, 83%. So so in that case, you don't see the effect of age. Whereas, for example, we tested, or one customer tested 20 15 or 16 Model S with a lot of miles. I think was at least 130,000 last week and was 72. So I would say that they're almost equivalent, with the slightly more influence compared related to mileage.
Yeah, no, brilliant. I'm just going to jump into the comments. Hi, Jordan. Good to see you attending. If anyone wants some interesting EV content, check out the EV guy. He's got lots of myth-busting EV content out there. Likes to ruffle a few feathers, don't you, Jordan? Which is always good fun to see. Funnily enough, my dad's asked a question. With NMC batteries, there is a gradual deterioration. ADAC, I'm not sure who they are, recently tested a VW ID3 with only 9% loss after 107,000 miles. Have you noticed any difference with LFP batteries? So I suppose the main question there, NMC versus LFP, what trends have you seen?
That's a great question. And unfortunately, I can't fully answer to this, or I can partially answer, because we haven't collected so far many data from cars with LFP chemistry. But at the moment, what I can tell is that we haven't noticed any kind of big difference. We have customers that are testing constantly some BYDs, but they are fairly new cars. So the reason why I can fully answer this question is that I want to see these cars in like 3-4 years at least.
Yeah.
Not like 2024 BYDs. So I can tell much more on these LFPs. We have seen some Teslas, and in those cases there were not so like big differences with LFP between LFP and NMC.
Not a big difference.
No big difference. Yeah.
Really, that's interesting, because normally quite a lot of the data suggests that there is quite a smaller amount of ADAC is Germany's AA, by the way. Thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you learn something new every day. So yeah, there does tend to be a trend that LFP batteries are better. I mean, I know that you can obviously charge them to 100% and it doesn't affect the battery degradation quite as much. So, and this is what really interests me. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of EVs out there, but the older ones, it's great to hear about the data that you guys have got and others, to understand it a bit further. So no, it's really, really interesting. And in terms of the other question I've got here is, you guys what have been interesting insights that you guys have learned from EV batteries that you didn't realize when you before you started testing them all?
That's a great question. So yeah, the point I mentioned before, I think is one of the first ones. So related to fast charging. So I had that kind of, we can say, misconception as well.
Yeah.
About the difference to LFP and NMC, as I said before, we haven't noticed so much difference, but I think it's still too early because we don't have. So for example, on the if I think about the total pool of cars our customers have tested so far, the LFP is really like a small amount, a small percentage. I think we are in the order of less than 5%, even 2-3%, and are all like Tesla standard range or this kind of cars.
Do you think maybe there's less people testing LFP batteries because they're less worried about the batteries, maybe because they've heard so many positive things, they're thinking it'll be fine?
Could be. Yeah, that's an interesting take. I mean, we're as I told you, we're working with dealers and auctions, so they test all the cars they have with no differentiation. No other, like we can say, surprises or learnings related to batteries. I don't have much more on top of my mind. I think that the main point is the one related to fast charging and the behavior related to that. Also, what I can mention is I thought that the cases with high battery imbalance and, for example, a faulty cell or module were not so frequent, but I don't know why, but in the last 2 to 3 months, we started seeing at least 2 or 3 per month. So it's not so, and maybe it's just because we are increasing the number of tests that we are doing, or maybe it's just a matter of volume. But there's an interesting thing about that, because as I said, the frequency is usually very low, but the severity of the problem is usually very high. So
Okay,
that's an
and
interesting take there.
I like to. I'm one for bold kind of predictions when it comes to EVs. They're not always right, I hasten to add. But have you got any bold predictions that you would like to give the Chargeheads / YEV audience about batteries, and where you think they're heading, where you think that might be a safe place to maybe buy a used electric car based on whether it's a mixture of data and your predictions so far?
So is it in general a question related to the battery industry, or the forecast we are seeing based on our data on how they are aging?
Let's go with both. Yeah, the battery industry,
Okay.
and then how they're aging.
Yeah. So in terms of battery industry, I mean, there has been a lot of rumors related to the advancements of both solid state batteries and sodium ion batteries.
Yeah.
So it's always very difficult to understand not what is true or not, but essentially what is really, really close to mass production applications or not. And it seems that there are advancements in the solid state industry that will make possible this adoption even in the next year or in the next couple of years. And that will be absolutely a game changer. Obviously, we need to understand what is going to be what the battery, like energy density of this battery is going to be, what kind of real world performance are going to be able to deliver. But that is the first thing. It's very interesting. And sodium ion batteries as well. We heard a lot of rumors. They could be a game changer. I suspect that all these advancements will come from China first. It's not a secret that they are like leading the market at the moment. So we'll see. And in terms of how the batteries are aging, going back to what I said at the beginning, batteries are in general lasting longer than what we were expecting.
Yeah.
Now, part of what we are doing is also educate people and create awareness about how the batteries are aging based on the data we are collecting, that EVs don't need a battery replacement every 6 months, as maybe people were used to think a few years ago. And in terms of how batteries are aging, I think we have a lot of examples already about Teslas with more than 10 years, and cases like yours as well, in which we're going to be like less scared about high mileage cars with EVs compared to what we were used to. We were used to be scared with gas cars. So
Yeah.
that's my take on that.
Okay. And when it comes to the different, well, this question actually from Mike Aylen again. Any different from the data that you guys have collected? Have you seen much difference in different NMC technologies? Because as I'm sure you know, like you mentioned, most of the batteries are coming out of China. You've got CATL, you've got BYD with their Blade batteries. We've got from Korea, we've got the LG batteries, America, Panasonic, or Japan. Have you guys started to see kind of any main differences between the different sources of these batteries and how well they're performing?
I can tell. What I can tell is that the Korean ones are very, very well they are presenting a lot of very interesting results, interesting and strong results.
That's good.
So usually it's fair to say that are usually newer cars. So all the Ioniq 5, EV6, EV9 we are testing, or yeah, our customers are testing are kind of like 2, 3 year old cars. Tesla has a different pool of cars you can access to that are even older. So it's fair to say that we need to compare apples to apples.
Yeah.
But the Koreans are usually showing very strong results.
No, sure. And when it comes to the testing that you're doing, I'm guessing on the basis that you guys are based in the US. I mean, what other coverage, what other countries are you helping and supporting EV customers? Whereabouts are you helping?
The UK. So we just we can say landed there through a partnership. Yeah, I'm happy to mention Vertex Automotive, that is our distributor. So yeah, if you are if you are a dealer or an auction, connect with the Vertex and Tony, that is our distributor in the UK.
Okay.
And and in general, we are active at the moment in the UK, Australia. We have a small presence in the UAE as well.
Okay.
And yeah, so these are the areas, but we have primary like strong focus on the US because we are based here and we are directly following the operations. But yeah, the UK was happened like a couple of months ago, and yeah, but it's a very hot market. It's a super interesting market because of the grant it was just released, the market share that is growing, and yeah, so these are the areas we are focusing on.
No, sure. And on the basis that you're in, multiple countries now, have you got enough data to support any kind of trends and in terms of differences of battery performance between countries and climates?
I would say that without getting into differences like among different countries, we have seen differences inside the US.
So how does
because
that
of the
compare
climate
from cold climates to your Texas and your southern states?
Yes, something that was expected is that usually cars that are tested in or that have like long lived in hot climates, hot weather, are usually kind of a little bit worse, and that was totally expected. But a lot of times, so our tests basically creates a we don't want to use the word snapshot, but effectively that's what it is, a snapshot of the battery, of the condition of the battery in that moment. So a lot of times we don't know the history of the car, right? Because unless it's provided by the dealer or our customer in general, we don't know the real the history of the car. It would be awesome to correlate that with the data that we are reading at that point. We are working into that also to be able to answer all of these questions. But when we were able to know the history of the car and we correlated to the data, we were able to discover that. So hot climate and hot weathers are usually influencing battery health in a negative way.
Yeah, and I think that's what the trend supports. So it's interesting, that your data supports that as well. When it comes to the actual test itself, so you mentioned that you guys do the test, which is that that snapshot, as you mentioned, and we've got you say Vertex that are in the UK that are supporting, that are doing the tests with your product. Are they also supporting the warranties? Because I did have a little look at the costs, and it did look really competitive. Are they similar costs for the UK as well? Is it best to speak to them? Or
about the warranty, we are not active yet in other countries outside from the US
at the moment. Okay.
But we've got a lot of interest and requests, and this confirms that. So I'm going to work with Vertex to roll out a program in the UK as well.
Yeah.
And in general, what we so there is a price. So the pricing is made by the dealerships. So usually we sell that product to the dealer, and the dealer is able to serve their customers with this type of battery extended warranty. What we are thinking about is also going direct to consumers, and that could be another avenue we are exploring with different costs and different we can say arrangements or frameworks. But it's something we are thinking about. For example, support consumers that want to consider use EVs. Maybe it's out of warranty, maybe they are buying from an online marketplace and they want to get peace of mind with a better extended warranty. Support
Mm.
these type of cases.
So how currently in the US market, how does it currently work? So let's say, I take on the warranty. Let's pretend I'm in United States for a minute. Yeehaw. And I get a warranty with you guys, and because the battery's over 80%, let's say it's 82% for argument's sake, I go to the battery warranty. I pay a monthly subscription, I think, based on the cost that I looked at, and there's a certain different warranty covers. What's the process? So let's say my battery dies, I can't charge it to 100%. No good. What's the process? What does that customer journey look like?
No, first of all, there's no monthly subscription for that. So usually it's
Sorry.
an upfront cost. So
Okay.
let's talk about we can say the official process that is handled by the dealer at the moment. So you buy a car from this dealer. The dealer is offering a Voltest Protect. You can cover your car, and it's usually a couple of $1,000s for the warranty, depending on what is the retail price of the dealer, and you get the warranty. Then what happens? So it's extremely easy. The dealer has already performed the tests to see if the car qualifies or not, and is able to sell it to you together with the warranty or not, essentially. What happens if you have a battery failure? So there is a network of repair shops, or in general, of shops and a network for service that can help you all across the US to basically help you with this claim. But when you encounter a claim, there is the service of our third party provider that can help you and figure out where is the best location to serve you for your claim.
Okay, no worries. And well, what are the comments? And it's an interesting one because you said it's currently just B2B, so dealers can ask to purchase your kit. I think it's for £340. How does it work? Is it just a one-off £340 for the dealer or for the company that wants to use it, and then they get support and training from you guys? I mean, how does it work from a cost point of view for them?
It's £349 for the dealer, and then there is the monthly subscription. So the monthly subscription for the dealer, it's in the US $300 a month, $299. For the base subscription, we provide battery report, unlimited number of tests every month. The battery report that I described you before. Maybe I can provide you some material to show you how it looks like. But if you follow me on LinkedIn, you have seen that I post basically every day about our battery reports.
You've got, and just to highlight, if anyone's on LinkedIn, connect Davide, because he's actually put some really interesting stuff on LinkedIn, and that's how we connected originally. Actually, I was looking at the reports, thinking this is really, really good, and that's how we got chatting, and how you're on YEV today.
Thank you so much.
So if you're a garage and you're selling a lot of electric vehicles, which is in the case of some garages, they are starting to sell a lot of them. And obviously this is going to be the future for a lot of garages if they play ball a little bit more. So I would say it's essential because the amount of people looking to buy used EVs is growing, and they want that confidence piece, don't they? They want to be able to understand if they've got a good battery or not, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And what I wanted to mention also, because you asked me about the how it works and the business model.
Yeah, sure.
We provide this battery report with the base subscription, and usually this is used by dealers more on the acquisition side rather than on the sales side. But what we provide also with what we call premium subscription is a set of API integrations that integrates directly into the dealer's listings, so on their portal,
Oh,
and
wow.
into
Okay.
into their listings. They can have, we can say, some sort of widgets that are getting data directly from our tests, so they can and they are highly customizable. They can show state of health or estimated range or both, that we can customize in the way they want. And beyond that, we also provide basic data related to that car. So, for example, remaining battery OEM warranty, fuel savings, so cost savings like fuel versus gas, this type of basic thing, to help the dealers essentially selling more EVs at higher prices, higher retail prices, and faster. So we help them sell these cars for the value they have, and we help buyers to get confidence at the same time in these used cars.
Well, before I start asking you some questions around your kind of preferences and exciting electric vehicles, are there any questions that I haven't asked that you'd like to just like talk to the audience about in terms of what you do, what Voltest do, and how they can help your EV purchase and ownership?
Yeah, no, I don't have any specific question. I just wanted maybe to ask you what is the overview that you have related to used EVs in the UK at the moment? And just because we are here, we are more aware about the US market and all the tailwinds related to some political decision we don't want to get into. But in the UK, I saw primarily on the new side like a very hot market. But I was curious about the used market and how people are reacting to the offer of used EVs.
I think it's, if you strip away all the negativity and the potential, I don't know, propaganda, whatever you want to call it, a lot of the sources where a lot of negativity of EVs are coming from, I think people realize, I mean, certainly where I live, and you look at the road, there's so many electric vehicles on the road now, over 1 million electric vehicles on the UK road, and the percentage of electric new sales is really, really strong. And the EV used car market is so good. The only challenges really are for the people that don't have their own driveway, so they can't benefit from overnight cheap charging. If you've got a driveway, it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. For people that do high mileage, I don't think it's really an excuse. I mean, the only excuse I would say from my experience is, if you're doing high mileage but you've got a driveway, and you're going over the total mileage of the vehicle, you'd want to buy a Tesla because of the Tesla supercharged network, because it's a lot cheaper. It's like a third of the price, generally speaking, to the normal other charge point operators. But then it's the cost of buying a Tesla. I mean, you can buy them for £10,000 now, so they are a lot more affordable now. So I think with the government grants coming in, I think that will lower some of the prices a little bit more. There does seem to be a bit of a race to the bottom from a pricing point of view now. I think we'll see more of that with the Chinese brands coming in. So I think the used market is going to be buzzing. Yes, there's still challenges, like I mentioned, but I think it's a really good place to be. Certainly. I mean, even when I was in France, because I've come back from France yesterday, and there's a video coming out for everyone on Wednesday, where I drove to France and back 770 miles. And I won't spoil it for everyone, but I'm back here on the right day. So yeah, pretty good news, really. But I'm going to go through all the costs and stuff like that. And even at the campsite I was in Normandy in France, there were loads of electric cars there. Netherlands, loads of Dutch electric cars, obviously German as well. So I think the UK market's definitely a good place to spend some time focusing on 100% or whatever percentage of state of charge you decide.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, just going into, obviously you used to work for Lamborghini, right? You've obviously got a passion for cars. You've got 2 Teslas. Have you got kind of a dream? Is there a dream electric car that you've got that's out on the market, used on you? That's my first question for you.
Okay. I mean, that is a like dream electric car, but I think what Rimac is doing is really absolutely
Rimac.
incredible. Rimac, yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible with the Nevera R. It's like really unbelievable what they are achieving in terms of performance and we can say engineering excellence. Like more human and normal cars regarding that. I really love here in the US Lucid. Not much for the styling, but in terms of like pure engineering level, they achieved and the performance of the cars, all of them. If you consider starting from the Lucid Air to the Gravity, so the SUV are really, really impressive. And I really hope that the company is going to survive because they are bringing so much like freshness to the space and so much value that is definitely needed. I also really like all the Rivians. I love Rivian styling. I would really like to see the R3X. That reminds me some 80s cars that I loved, like the Golf Country. You remember the Volkswagen Golf Country,
Yeah,
maybe?
I'm trying to picture it. I do remember it. I'm just trying to picture. Hang on, country.
No, it's more of a joke than other, but
I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, my AI is
there
asking me a
something else
question.
I can
Oh
help
yeah. So it's basically a Golf Mark 2 jacked up with some bull bars on and stuff like that. Yeah, no, very
yeah,
cool. Yeah, no, I do.
yeah,
I remember seeing that before. One question then for you is, what are your thoughts on the new Slate electric car?
I have, I would say, mixed feelings on the Slate because I really think that they were monsters at marketing.
Yeah,
They rolled out a marketing campaign like I've never seen recently. Really impressive. I like the concept of simplicity, but at the same time, I'm not sure if if they're not bringing the vehicle to market very fast. I'm not sure the value is going to be there in like 2 or 3 years.
yeah.
Because first of all, they announced the price with the tax credit, and the tax credit already disappeared. So this vehicle is going to be more pricey, like pricier than what it was announced, and it was going to be already out of his category, and the competition is really fierce when talking about like very simple trucks, gas powered. And
you'd hope that
yeah,
Trump, sorry to cut in there, you'd hope that Trump would want to, with all of his bravado, I don't know if that's the right word, in terms of supporting American manufacturing, you would hope that he would get behind that. But yeah, that's a very good point, though. Sorry, I'll cut in there, mate.
No worries. But what I was saying is that it's another startup. Like we have seen Rivian and Lucid struggling. It's another startup that is bringing a new, a very innovative concept to the market. But at the end of the day, the innovation is more on how they are marketing this vehicle rather than fundamentals. And I'm really afraid that, yeah, there is a lot of hype around the company because of this simplicity. But at the end of the day, when customers are going to choose the car and drive the car, they will like to have all the gadgets and technology and all the things they are used to with all the other cars, and especially with new EVs, right? Like Tesla's Rivian and Lucid, that they created like a strong, we can say, footprint with a lot of customers in bringing these high technology vehicles to the market. So I think that overall they will need to be very fast to jump on the market and to bring the vehicle on the market. Otherwise, we're going to see some difficulties.
Yeah. Normally we go for an hour, so I've got one more question I want to chuck at you. So as you know, I'm doing a EV conversion of a TVR, a classic. Some would argue not classic British car. If you could convert any classic Italian car to electric, what would it be? And is it something that you would consider doing yourself, being an engineer?
Yes, and I already thought about that. I thought about converting classic cars a lot. Didn't really have a time or like focus on that. About Italian cars, I'm really a big fan of Alfa Romeo in terms of brand, because I'm from Milan, so northern Italy.
Oh, wow.
And
I love Milan. I went to Milan last year. Lovely place. Loved it. Yeah, really lovely. So if anyone's not been to Milan, go to Milan and get confused by the tube station because there's no English.
And it's complicated. Aside from weather, Milan is a lovely place. But so I'm originally from Milan. Alfa Romeo was born in Milan, and then the main plant was like 5 minutes from my little town. So I'm really attached to that. The model I always loved is the Spider, what in Italian we call Duetto. That is the Spider that was manufactured from the 60s to the early 90s. And that one I would really love to convert.
Nice. I must admit, I don't know why I've got a little bit of a thing about Fiat X190s. Just because I think there have been a few people that have converted them. It's a bit of a just think it would be a fun car just to put a stupid amount of power in.
Also because if I'm not mistaken, it was like mid-engine, rear wheel drive. So a lot of fun. Absolutely.
No, absolutely. But no, Davide, thank you so much for joining us today. And if anyone's missed the beginning of this podcast, don't forget I'll be adding it to Spotify later on this evening. And it's been great to find out a bit more about Voltest. I'm looking forward to hopefully you guys being more part of the UK EV industry. So keep in touch. Let us know on LinkedIn, and don't forget to add Davide on LinkedIn as well. And thank you everyone for listening in and chipping in today. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. And don't forget, there is a video coming out Wednesday of my journey to France and back in Rusty, my 130,000 mile Tesla Model 3. But thanks again, Davide, and
thanks for having me.
Thank you all for listening. See you next week.